My name's Steve Elliot, and I've been part of Compass Church for about 16 years now. Well, it started out really well in that I got married just a week after COVID shut the province down. So it started out really well. However, on the business side of things, it really was a challenge. It was difficult for me as a business owner to lay off staff that work for you, and that's probably the worst thing I've ever had to experience. Handing people basically their slips and you didn't know when they were going to be called back. I'm a businessman, but I'm also a human and a Christian, and that was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. The next 15 weeks were challenging in that I had no staff, but was expected by government mandate to keep the store open. And so I was pretty much there on my own for 15 weeks. My wife, Danielle, was my rock through that. And as much as there was times when it was really challenging, I always knew that she was there to be behind me and uplift me. And then God was also there encouraging me as well through a very difficult time. So that's how it started. I think I've come to appreciate that I think a lot of times we put emphasis on stuff, and I've learned that you can get by on a lot less. I've learned that stuff is not important, although I had a pretty good grasp on that one beforehand. But it was about relationships with my wife and family, and our small group was a great support as well. Praying regularly, whether it was by Zoom or sometimes it was in person, depending on the way the regulations were going at that time. But our small group was very supportive of all our business people in the small group. And so that really meant a lot to have those people that were there to support and pray. And I do remember one very distinct small group meeting by Zoom. It was probably June. And somebody mentioned that, because nobody really knew how long this was going to go on, and somebody in our small group said they had heard it could go on for as long as 6 months. And I think there's probably still a dent in the floor from where my chin hit at that point, because I honestly didn't know whether the business would survive being what we were for 6 months. But now we've come back, and better days than there are bad days, and through it all, God has been good. It's hard to keep changing things when you're running a business, because the customers, they get surprised almost every time they come in when the mandates keep changing and what your hours can be and what your options are as far as number of people that you can have in the store. It was something that it was hard to follow, but you just did your best, and we tried to be inclusive of the guidelines, but also trying to be consistent and having consistent hours for the customers, that they didn't have to worry, well, are they open today or not open today, or are they open till 4 today or 6 today or whatever. So it was important to be consistent. And once we started bringing staff back, that was when we set some pretty finite hours, and that was really what they are today. They just really haven't changed. Customers have gotten used to the regular hours that we have now, and it's hard to change paradigms for customers when you're not in constant communication with them. And so we just thought being consistent and right across the board was the best way to go. I think it made me realize, although we didn't understand as humans what was going on really either with government or in the rest of the world, but we realized that God is good all the time, and God is in control all the time. And so without that, life would be a big question mark as to what's next. Where are we going to be in this tomorrow? Where are we going to be in this next week? It's been, that's one thing I have realized more than ever. I always knew it, but God is in control. I would say just having our very close small group that was there. You know, they would come in and a couple of the guys would come in and visit. And I remember one particular day, one of the guys came in and prayed with us, prayed with me right in the office. I was really discouraged at that point and wondering, you know, are we going to make it through this? Or is this what the life is going to be like? Because this is not what I signed up for 9 years ago when I bought Barth's Cleaning Center. It was just, I did not anticipate anything like this, nor did anyone else, that it was going to be like this. So I would say what strengthened my faith was just knowing that these people were there, that cared very much about us, Danielle and myself and family, and they were there to support in a great way. I just think the importance of close relationships with my wife, obviously, but also my close circle of friends that we're in contact with on a pretty regular basis. I would not want to ever lose that, because those things were what got us through. That and our dependence on God to just show us the way every day, what's coming at us, and being able to deal with it the right way. Lots of people can jump up and down and go into hysterics and yell and scream and everything, but that's not going to accomplish anything. It's just the value of the friendships and my relationship with my wife, always being there to support me, and just knowing that we didn't have to say it. I just knew that she was there all the time, and that's been a real blessing. Yeah, I don't think anybody's come through this and not learned anything. As a business person, I think we've learned to be more efficient in what we do and how we do it. And, you know, it's just been a real learning curve to learn different ways of doing things, different methodologies of doing things. So it's been a real learning curve, and I'm grateful now that, you know, when we see the business is starting to grow again and starting to kind of get back to what the new normal will be, I guess, for lack of a better expression. It's been a ride. It's been a ride for sure.